Kendrick cares about a casual fan. I think he's doing this for his own like sake. He wants to prove to himself. Not
Oh,
he
with
doesn't have to prove it
Ether.
to himself.
Oh,
He
yeah,
thinks he's
look,
better
look,
than.
look, right. But with Ether, whether Nas and Jay-Z were both lying and whatnot, it's the way that Nas lyrically constructed his points.
If we're
Ain't
talking
like
about lyrically
you
too,
must
then
have struck a
that don't
chord.
look
It's
good for
probably
Drake.
A minor. That is such a simple line. But our
Hey,
new
no, you okay? No. Don't even start that because you want to know how Drake responded? Drake responded with an even worse play. He said B flat. There's no such thing as a B flat. He did something worse. So if you don't acknowledge that right now, you're being biased. Because you just brought that up quick as fuck. I'm a counter that quick as fuck.
what's the full line if you remember? What's the full lines with the D flat, B flat, whatever you said? What's the full like? What's the
You
full
got a B flat, B major. Like okay,
B flat, D major?
B flat. There's no such thing as a B flat. A B flat is just a fucking C. There's no such thing. The musical equivalent of a B flat is just another note. And then he said D major, and I'm like, okay. And
Wait, so you just
he
B
enunciated
flat
it too. Like
is
he really
the
felt
musical
away about
equivalent of a note, right? So
it.
doesn't
A B
that mean
flat.
that exists?
A B flat is the same exact thing as a C. Like a A minor, right? A A minor
Yeah.
is an A minor. A A minor, you can't play a B and it's an A minor. You can't play a C and it's an A minor. You can't play an A and it's an A minor. A minor is a very specific note. A B flat is just another way to say another note. You might as well have just said C because that's basically what it is. Because
Of
if
course,
you
we
ever
can't
read a
say
piece of
something
music,
else
if you
because
ever read a piece
you
of music, because I used to be
literally
like
it's a
my
part of the
mom.
night.
My mom used to have me as a choir boy, so I used to read music. You'll never see on a piece of music B flat. Like if you're gonna make a punchline, at least make it accurate, right? So if you're gonna criticize Kendrick for making something simple, you better criticize Drake for making the same type of simplicity, but then still fucking up. I mean,
Oh
sure,
yeah,
let's just say he was. I don't really care. I don't think it matters if he was. Like, I don't think it matters at the end of the day about how I feel about the whole Drake and Kendrick thing. I think that's like a minuscule point, anyways. But sure, let's
yeah.
just say he was. I don't really care. Um, like the point I was making was just Drake looks weird, and so Kendrick took advantage of the fact he looks weird
And
when
then
he
like,
does
oh
stuff like
yeah, and then like you were talking about how the people are gonna obviously think it's weird. It's common sense,
because
and
there's a few things, right? You know how like everything's opinion, right? Pretty much. There are a few like select things that yes, they're opinion, but they're generally agreed on. Like it's very rare that people disagree with it. That it's weird, and one of those things that I think is in that group is like things with kids or like things with like young people.
hmm
I'm not
well,
saying he's that, but like, do you agree that that type of stuff is in a section by itself of shit that like universally a lot of people are just weirded out by?
it's more like it's something with it's mainly something with this generation of people that are our age. I don't you sound like you're in your early 20s or near your early 20s or something like that. I think we're a part of the same generation, but not everything revolves around our generation. And if this happened 20 years ago, nobody would bat an eye at this A
I
minor stuff.
mean, just because that's the case, does that mean it's right? Like, just because it used to happen before, does that mean it's right? This is what I have to say about it at that point. Because Aaliyah was singing "Age was just a number" and she was over here getting groomed and shit. But like, that doesn't make it right just because nobody said a thing about it back then.
No one said a thing about it back then because like I was saying back in our first convo, like nobody bats an eye until like there's something concrete. Like if if there was footage of Diddy beating on Aaliyah 20 years ago,
He
that
didn't
nigga
beat on Aaliyah. He groomed her though. He was like trying to get some intimate stuff. But like, it's not like he had it on paper. It's just that was kind of what was implied. But she's not. Unfortunately, she's not here with us anymore. But
it's just that 20 years ago, like the millennials 20 years ago, they weren't as sensitive to this stuff as the Gen Zs and Gen Alphas are now.
I don't
So
think it's a Gen Z Gen Alpha
universally,
thing because you got a lot of
universally,
old people
very
too who don't
bold,
like
like
that shit.
it's a very strong word because universally, like that accounts for every generation, all ages, etc., etc.
Yeah,
This
for the most
this
part.
this stuff that you're talking about, it's popularized among our generation, the Gen
Not
Zs,
only ours though. Not only
Gen
ours.
yeah, like for the most part,
No, but I'm saying like
if
even
I
older
look at the
people don't
comments,
like
I
it.
look at the comments on these videos with real predators and even people that aren't predators but look weird. They're mainly from people who are our age or in high school or in
You
middle school.
want to know why
They're
that's the Because where are
why
you looking at? Where are you looking at in social media? You're on Instagram, right?
all of them, YouTube, Twitter, all
You
of
on
them.
Facebook? Are you on Facebook?
Well, I might have Facebook for family, but I barely go on
Yeah,
it.
neither do I. But I'm saying like that's where a lot of people in their 30s and 40s be at. I think it's really just depends on where you look. And forget that. I remember I don't look at academics as like a crucial source, but I do look at them as a connection to a lot of people. There's a lot of old heads like Whack 100, a lot of old people that take this like weirdo pedophile shit seriously. So it's not just young people. It's just
And are
most
those people
people.
like parents? Like is like are all those people you mentioned? Do they have children of their own?
Whack got a child.
Okay. Who else? Is that the only one?
I mean, not people that you would know probably. Just like I'm not gonna look at some random old person that I seen comment because I'm not gonna use
So it's
that
like
as
obviously if that old person is a parent, Gen Z came from Gen X for the most part.
okay.
You
So
know,
so what's the point then? Because you said it was usually just
because
Gen
if you
Z.
have children, right, and you think of when you think about Drake and all the other people, and you're a parent, you're gonna have some bias
I'm not
toward
gonna lie.
stuff
I get what you're
because
saying. I get what you're saying.
yeah, like literally, literally, parents like they take things out of proportion because they just are worried about their children. So when they hear about Billy Bobby Brown or they hear about that 17-year-old or whatever, they're thinking about their child that's probably 16 or 17 or
And
18.
that's the way it should be because you shouldn't think about it as that could be your kid. Because I don't see how that's a like something you should hold against the point. I think if anything, that supports the
It's
point.
holding against the point because they're using that's basically what projection is. You're using your own kid to shape your stance on a whole other issue that has
Well, the
nothing to
issue is
do with
related
your
to young
kid.
people, and if your kid's a young person, then it's pretty related.
Yeah, it's pretty relatable,
Like, would you
but
let your 14-year-old text Drake if you had a 14-year-old kid? If you had a 14-year-old daughter, would you let her text Drake? Regardless if you think like there's nothing crazy going on, would you just let her text Drake and they're like besties and like, oh, I miss you too? Like, is that just like that's
um
just cool with you? Like,
very like
the
there
fact
has
you
to
got
be
to
more
think about that, I
context.
think it's kind of crazy. The fact you got to think
Like
about that.
the way you're wording it, of course not. But
Because the
if
way I worded
me
it
if
is, I specifically made sure to word it in the way that the messages that Drake and her have. Like, there's
No,
messages
no. The
like
thing
her
is,
saying "I
Millie Bobby
miss you" or
Brown.
whatever.
And look, I know you don't want to, hear this part, but Millie Bobby Brown's parents, they love Drake. They defended
That's
Drake.
fine. That's fine.
They see, like that's what I'm saying
No,
about
I'm telling you,
context.
like I
If
don't
like
like. I'm
me and
telling you, I
Drake,
don't think it matters. Like if a 14, like I said the same thing about the R. Kelly stuff. There's a video of R. Kelly doing stuff with younger girls. If those younger girls said, "Well, I didn't have an issue with it," does that make it all of a sudden right now and not weird?
did they
I don't think that's
say
how it
that
works.
their parents had no problem with it?
Okay, so who does it? What does it matter then? Does it matter if the person, the parents, like what does it matter?
When you're a minor, you don't have as many rights as people that are legal. So who's legal? The parents. So the parents, they it's up to them to decide what they want,
It's real.
who they want their dog, like their minor child to associate
That's true.
themselves.
That's true. But it's not their decision on what's right and wrong. They can believe something wrong and it's still wrong.
So yeah,
That's
so
what I'm
now
trying
we're
to say.
going down to what's right and wrong. But didn't you say like did you have a little bit of a problem with me introducing morals in the beginning of this?
Only since you were like talking about them and projecting it onto like why like didn't lose. When
Okay,
in
so like what? So how is this morally wrong then? I don't see what's morally wrong with it. I see how
so
it looks weird.
you fuck with like a 16, 17-year-old girl?
Fuck with as in what, a friend or what?
No, no, no. You know exactly what I mean.
Oh, of course
Actually,
not.
for legal reasons, yeah, no, just say no, right? So
Yeah,
like
yeah, of course not. That sounds
the
ridiculous.
fact you have to tip okay, if it sounds ridiculous,
Yeah.
would you do that?
Would I kiss that girl on stage?
Yes.
Hell no. That looks suspicious.
Okay. So I'm saying, is it not fair in rap beef for Kendrick to try and use that against him?
It's not fair because when I say it
It's
looks
not fair?
suspicious, it's not fair because when I say it looks
Really?
suspicious, it's more like it's on camera, right? Young Money, like his Drake's camp brought that girl on stage and Drake didn't know what was going on.
Nope,
And
nope. He knew
Drake,
what was going on and he doubled down. So okay, I'll dismiss the first half of the video where he didn't know, but then he found out and he doubled down because the rest
yeah,
of the
and
video
like
he doubled
the
down on.
thing is with that, the thing with Drake, he low key did, yeah, like low key Drake
It
shouldn't have
wasn't
did
low key,
that.
man. He went, "Oh, you 17?
No,
I'm not
like
trying to
low
go
key, I
to
think
jail."
Drake shouldn't have did that because it made
I
him
hope so.
look sus to the public. If I was Drake, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done that. If I if I was in Drake's shoes, I'd do a Tyga. When Tyga was with Kylie, did he go on stage and do all that crazy stuff? No, he was being very private with it. And that's why
The
nobody
issue people
cared when
usually have with
Tyga was.
Taka wasn't that he was dating Kylie. It was that apparently this had like started before then, and then it finally turned into that. Like they thought he groomed her. That's what people were. That's the issue people had with Tyga.
Yeah, but the thing is, did a rapper, did Lil Durk, when Lil Durk was beefing with Tyga, did a social media be like, yo Tyga, yo Lil Durk, you gotta call Tyga a pedophile. He was
You
doing
think?
this.
Nah. Here's the thing. That's like a conflict. That's a conflict in fan bases. Lil Durk fans probably just telling, "Yo, he's not about that life." Just to call him a fake blood or some shit. Like, that's a conflict in fan bases. Like different fans want to see different stuff. And you know the whole thing about what's her face? Fuck Ruby Rose.
Uh
Apparently rappers was fucking with her when she was 16, 17, like a
oh
bunch of rappers.
yeah, that yeah.
So like this is not an uncommon thing. So you never know. But like I think it's a conflict in fan bases. And Kendrick, he portrays himself as someone who tries to do the right thing and doesn't want to do things like that. So it would behoove him to take that angle at Drake because he presents himself in that manner. And of course, obviously without Kendrick, obviously Kendrick can't take that angle if he has something on him. From what we know, there's nothing on him. Not only is there not any proof, there's not even anything alluding to anything of that nature. So it's safe for Kendrick to take that route. So if you're saying it's unfair for Kendrick to use stuff like that against Drake, you said it was unfair, right?
Yeah.
Would you consider it unfair for Drake to use something even less of proof, which is an article with no names, no case, no video, no nothing, and then make a narrative out of it?
Are you referring to the wife beating stuff?
Yeah, and that's the thing that has the most proof, and it still doesn't have any proof compared to what like Kendrick's not proof, but I'm saying like shit that makes him look bad.
I'm making it clear. People like Ice T and Stephen A. Smith, they're blaming both Kendrick and Drake. I do the same thing. I don't like what
Granted,
Drake did.
they're not into hip hop beef, so it's like I remember you said in your video, "What the fuck do these people know about hip hop?" But then you're referencing Stephen A. Smith.
I'm talking about fans of our generation that think they know hip hop. I know hip hop because I do music. I've been rapping for 10 years before I even started making all these videos on my channel and whatnot.
So you think Lil Dicky knows about hip hop then?
A little Dicky, he probably does. Yeah, like he used to be an
Because he's been
accountant.
rapping for longer than any one of us would have been. So
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
seeing if you're using that logic with that.
yeah. Because like when you start doing something, what did you look at other people. So who did Lil Dicky? I mean, who did Lil Dicky look at when he started rapping? He probably looked at old school legends. He probably did his research, listened to Tupac albums, listened to Biggie albums, listened to Eminem albums, all Nas albums, all these albums. A lot of people I see in the comments, they don't come off as they did, like they're that tapped in to hip hop history.
I'm
The
not gonna lie,
way
you don't have to be crazy tapped in about hip hop history to know about hip hop now. It would be good for you to do that, right? Especially because I think there's a lot of good music back then. But I don't think you could use the "you never listened to Pac and Biggie." Your opinion's invalid. I don't think you can use that.
that's
If the
because the kind of environment they were in, Biggie and Tupac, the kind of the world they were in. It's not just about their music. It's not just about who they are as people. It's also the culture. The culture. Cultures don't get old. Cultures don't get irrelevant. People
they do
forgot.
change though, they do change though.
They don't change. They things get added onto it.
You think
That's why
the
people
culture isn't different than it was 30 years ago in the 90s?
the culture the culture is still the same. Like it has the same foundation, but
Oh, your
things are
foundations are always
layered
going to
on
be
top of it
yeah. You're not going to
because
change the
rap.
foundations, yeah, of course. But like, still, it's gonna the things on top of the foundations change. I mean, what you think Lil Uzi Vert could have came in the 90s? Forget his style. I don't mean his rap style. I mean like the way he presents himself as a rapper and a man. That shit wouldn't have flawed in the 90s. The foundations of hip hop are still the same, but the culture surrounding it and the way things are accepted and the way things are like vetted and who gets big and all that shit, it wouldn't have worked in the 90s. Now
But the thing is with
the
the sound.
foundations, right? Like someone
Well,
like Kendrick
yeah,
Lamar. Someone
Yeah,
like
but the
Kendrick
thing about the
Lamar.
SoundCloud era, that era is long gone for a reason because that era did not completely coincide with the roots of hip hop. That's
No,
why
that's fine. By the way,
that's why old heads were warning people like Lil Pump and Lil Uzi. Now, I love their
okay, Lil
music.
Pump is irrelevant as fuck. Lil Uzi still got a
No,
lot
but
of.
like they're a part of the same. Remember what I said? They're a
Nah,
part of the
I
same
wouldn't disrespect Uzi like that.
environment.
I wouldn't disrespect Uzi like that. Pump is. I'm not gonna lie. I always thought Pump was trash, and I
Yeah,
knew
he
that.
definitely is. He definitely. I mean, look, yeah, he definitely is. But like, that's not my point. What I mean is
And you
that,
know, Uzi fucks with real hip hop. His one of his favorite rappers is Lil Wayne.
yeah,
Lil Wayne's a legend. Lil Uzi has the Rigor Mortis remix. Like Lil Uzi, he's tapped in. Like he knows his stuff. He's just
and
a
like,
little bit
yeah,
the
like, and literally,
evolution.
Cardi is tapped in too because when what you call when that one guy, he was like, do you know who DJ? MC Scratch is? Cardi's like, who the hell is that? I know all these OGs, but who the hell is DJ? Is MC Scratch? That's what I mean. A lot of SoundCloud rappers, they're tapped in. That's how they were able to use rap to blow up. Even if they're not lyrical MCs
I
themselves,
mean, some of them
they
are
could
tapped
have
in, some
been.
of them are.
Look,
At the end of
look,
the day, if
look.
you're talented, you're talented. That's what I think.
Yeah, like, yeah, and that's the thing. Uzi and Cardi, if this was the 90s, they wouldn't be doing all this stuff. They would be rapping like actual rappers that are lyrical and have, double entendres and all this stuff. The reason why, like, see, look, Cardi's old music was lyrically better.
I
Cardi
mean, it
had
was. It
better
still wasn't
music
much. It
before he
still wasn't
even
much.
blew up. But like, what did he do? What did he do? He stopped being lyrical. He started flowing a little more,
Cardi
making
was never
catchier
lyrical for the record.
songs,
He was
etc.
never
If
lyrical
Cardi
for it.
wanted to, he could rap. He could really rap. But he's not doing that because people are not trying to hear that these days.
I think he's doing that because that's what he wants to do.
Yeah, that too. He's basically combining what
Okay,
he
yeah, yeah.
wants to
I got
do.
you. I don't want to get too off topic, but I get what you're saying. But like the point that it was at before was like I was saying, Steve, you were mentioning Stephen A. Smith, and I'm like, okay. I remember in your video you were talking about what the fuck do these people know about hip hop. I think if you want to use that logic, I don't think you can quote Stephen A. Smith
But like,
talking about his
but
beats.
like, I didn't say that. What do Stephen A. Smith and these other guys know? What I said was, what does the public know? What does the current public know about hip hop?
Well,
That's
if we're
what I
being
was
honest,
saying.
if we were to compare your average Drake fan to your average Kendrick fan, your average Drake fan knows that's about hip hop. I don't think that's like an opinion.
That's because there's versions of Drake that certain Drake fans gravitate to more.
Yes, because
There's
Drake is more mainstream. Drake has
Yeah,
a
he's
lot of
more mainstream.
there
But
are a
like,
lot of
there,
Drake fans who listen to Drake but don't listen to any other hip hop. Then there are Kendrick fans who listen to Kendrick but don't
yeah,
listen to any
because
other hip
those
hop.
people, they only want to hear the pop Drake. They only want to hear the pop Drake. They only want to hear all these other guys. But then there's Drake fans that actually appreciate Drake's rapping and don't appreciate his singing. That's why when he dropped Views, they're like, Drake is falling off. He's too
I think
pop.
Views was fine. I think Views is
Yeah,
good.
yeah, same. That's his best album to me. No. Scorpion is, but like Views is
I
like
don't
it's
like
very close.
Scorpion, but I like Views. I think if what's it called? Nothing was the same was his best.
I
And Take
remember
Care.
2018 when the stuff dropped, like when his album dropped, they're talking about some Drake is falling off because he's doing too much pop. That's what I mean. There's different types of Drake
No,
fans.
yeah, that's fine. But I'm saying okay, okay, yeah. But the point this really came from, you said it was unfair that Kendrick uses Drake's weird presentation on how he's with a woman, specifically women in their teens. You said it was unfair to use that as a narrative to push something. So is it not even more unfair for Drake to use a media takeout article from 10 years ago with no names, no court case, and no follow up, no evidence, and then use
Yeah.
that and saying that you beat your wife?
It's
And Drake
unfair,
fans
but
ran
it's
with that
not
shit too, by the way.
more
Drake
unfair.
fans ran with that shit. They took that media takeout article from 10 years ago and took it
Mhm.
like the Bible. Like it was just, this is the proof. Like, you know? Granted,
Yeah,
Kendrick fans did the same thing, but like, not Kendrick. Kendrick Dick Riders did the same thing. But like at the same time, one of them has some things that allude to some weird activity. The other one's a random article with no follow ups.
yeah, but I'm saying if this was 20 years ago, those very things that you say that you claim allude to whatever Kendrick accused Drake of, if this was 20 years ago, those things nobody would be saying those things allude to anything
I
Drake
don't
did.
think that's a valid argument. Just because people were less sensitive to child grooming doesn't mean it isn't wrong. Which is what it's alluded to, right?
And
I'm
well,
not saying he
yeah.
did it,
So
but
like
it alludes
basically,
to some weird activity.
I never said, child, I never said that was right. I'm saying that there is no real concrete evidence Drake did any of that. So using
Drake did
these
it,
things
yeah.
to that
But
and then
does he have
claiming they allude
activities?
to it,
Does he
I
do
feel
certain
that's
things?
unfair because Kendrick is purposely doing that, knowing the kind of generation we're in right now, the
I think
kind
he's
of
doing that because
shit
he
we're
doesn't like the way
doing.
Drake acts. You know what's crazy? Kendrick didn't bring up the video of the girl. He didn't bring up him, Millie Bobby Brown. That stuff was just things people used common sense about, and they came to that conclusion
How is it
about
common sense though?
it.
So
Okay,
so
Kendrick
as
is calling Drake a weirdo, and like he fucks with kids or some shit, regardless if that's true or not, if he's blowing out of proportion. Why is he saying that? Oh, Drake has this weird history. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That's the common sense. Like someone says something, or Kendrick says something, he makes a claim. Oh, why is he making this claim? Like, oh shit, that's why he's making this claim. He's looking at this shit and he's like, you're a weirdo. That's the thing here. And granted, I don't think that like the 20 years ago this wouldn't be an issue is a valid point at all. Like that's like saying like in the fucking I don't know, whenever fucking the Civil Rights Act happened, well, you can't call this person a bad person for being racist because 20 years ago wouldn't that mattered. Like I'm not saying that that's the same equivalence because again, Drake isn't obviously proof a fucking diddler, but like I'm not taking that as a point that 20 years ago nobody would have said anything. We've progressed more as a society to where we're more like privy to people having those type of tendencies. I mean, we're not even privy enough because we just caught Diddy. We just made R. Kelly be accountable for the shit he did. So we still have ways to go, but it's like again, not saying that Drake did it, but you cannot argue that Drake has certain tendencies that are similar to people who do that stuff. Because he's pushing 40, right? He's pushing 40. And
yeah,
the
it's
one
pushing 40.
can give him, the one excuse you can give him is that since Drake portrays himself as someone who wants to be a party dude and wants to live that early to mid 20s lifestyle, he's gonna
Mm-hmm.
coincidentally just be around girls in their 20s. Okay, whatever. I can see that. Right? I can see that if Drake wants to live that lifestyle and be a player boy, he's gonna be around younger women just because that's the crowd he's around. But
Mm-hmm.
why are they like damn near barely legal, right? That's the thing where I'm like, you can't really
Well,
justify
that's the
that.
thing, though. Like why people like target Drake for this? It's because Drake, he's doing what a lot of rich people are like. A lot of rich men are doing.
Yeah, that's
It's
fine.
just
Fuck them
Drake.
too. I'm gonna be consistent. I'm not saying like
Yeah,
he's
but
the only one that needs to be
how
held
though?
accountable.
How
I
is
don't care.
that messed up? It's literally biology. This is gonna be in a whole other thing
Oh
that
no,
I
no, we're
don't
not
know if you
doing
want
that.
to get into.
I do
You
want to.
know.
No, I don't want to get into it because basically what I'm gonna respond to that is control yourself. That's gonna be my response to what you're
Control
saying.
yourself.
Control yourself.
Okay, so when Kendrick said Drake should die, did he control himself then?
I'm talking about control yourself as in like don't touch kids. That's what I mean. Control yourself. Like just because you find someone attractive, I thought that's what you're gonna talk about. Like it's primitive. You see a
Okay,
girl that looks
yeah, I
attractive,
was
you
gonna
don't
talk
think
about
about
that
the
part
age.
too. Yeah, but I'm saying, what is wrong with a 40-year-old rich dude, right? This
Fucking with
this
girls.
guy's attractive to people that are
Okay,
even older than them or
that's
even a
fine.
little younger than them, but they don't want but and like they and like granted the rich guy has delved into his age range, right? But it's not just about them. A lot of men want to do what they do because they have their own reasons. That
That's
doesn't mean
fine. If
they're
you're like
wrong
pushing
for it.
40 and you want to fuck with 18, 17-year-old girls, I think you're weird too. So it doesn't just apply to Drake, but I'm saying Drake is the person we're talking about right now.
Yeah,
And Drake
Drake
can,
is like those
and I think
people.
it's,
That's what
I'm
I'm
not gonna lie,
saying. Drake.
I think it's less of an excuse that you're rich and famous. You can pull a 23-year-old that looks better than any 18-year-old you could pull. So I don't even think that's a proper excuse. Drake can find any woman he wants. He don't, it's not like
Yeah,
he only
yeah.
can get
He can.
18-year-old girls and 17-year-old girls. Like I know that's not the case.
No. I'm not saying Drake is out there looking for 17-year-old
Shit,
all
but
day.
you
No, no,
can't
no, no,
say
no, no,
you
no.
can't say he isn't either because there's no proof either
But
way
then
besides him just saying
there's
believe.
guys who are 40. They'll go after like 26-year-olds, and they're called weird too.
Okay, but I think 26 is like that's at least better than 18 because
Well, yeah, that's what you
your
think, but
brain
a
is
lot of
fully
people,
developed.
not a
Your
people.
brain fully develops by your early to mid
If you're
20s.
40 years old and you date a 30-year-old, they're still gonna call you weird because
No,
they're
they're not.
10 years ahead.
I've never heard that in my life. I'm not gonna lie.
It
Maybe it's just me,
definitely
but I've never heard that in my life.
it's not as controversial. It's not as controversial,
I don't think it's
but
controversial at all. I've never heard anyone have an issue with that. I'm not gonna lie. That's the first time I've ever heard somebody say that. 40 and 30? I've heard 40 and 20, which I think, I mean, it's not the craziest shit, but 40 and 30, I'm not gonna lie, I've never heard anyone have an issue with that.
Yeah, like it's like it's not as controversial. Like literally, I would see comments on this. I would see comments on this. Granted, it's not given as much attention or flack, but I
Because
still
I don't
see
think
it.
people actually, I think people mostly universally agree that that's not weird. Maybe there's a pocket of people, but that pocket is so small that this is my first time hearing about it. That's how small the pocket is. I've
Okay,
heard
well
people having an issue with
then
like
yeah,
40-year-olds
then
and more
let's
20
forget
year
about the
olds, but
40, 30-year-old. What is weird about a 40-year-old and a 25-year-old?
I don't think that's that crazy.
But
Granted,
you
I'm
still
now
think it's a little
curious.
crazy, right? You still think it's a little
No, I
crazy,
don't
even if
think
it's
it's
not
like
that
no,
crazy, right?
because biologically speaking, your brain usually fully develops by your mid 20s, about mid 20s.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
by
like
that point, you're
25, your
fully
brain is
functioning,
fully developed.
fully developed. And when you're 18 or 20, it's enough developed to make your own decisions, but it's fully
Yes,
developed by your
exactly. So like if you're 18, if you're 19 or 20, you're old enough to make your own decisions and you're legal. So why is it
yeah, for
weird
the
when
most part.
Drake dates that kind of person who's 20?
No, because he brought a 17-year-old on stage.
Yeah, but did he date her? No, it was just a
I'm not
one-time
saying he dated
thing.
her. Yeah, he doubled down on
That
it too,
lady
so
is
we didn't care.
31 years old now. She came out and said it was nothing. It was
And I
nothing
told
then,
you
it's nothing now.
that's fine. Just because she feels a way about it, I don't care. Like if someone gets molested at 8 and then 20 years later they say I didn't have an issue with that, I don't care what they said. It's the
Yeah, but she
principle
didn't
of
get
the issue.
molested. She just got
I know what
kissed.
I'm saying, but I'm like using that as an example to just in general. It's weird. I
Hmm.
think it's weird. A lot of people think it's weird. It's generally looked at as weird enough to where there's a federal law in the United States
Yeah.
having an age limit. Granted, I don't think the age limit, like, because everyone matures differently, right? So it can't be like, not everything is the same. But the fact that people have a law about it and nobody's ever argued that law, nobody has tried to lower the federal law and had a serious like
Hmm.
support for it because people generally agree that that's the bare minimum age.
Okay.
And he brought a
So
17 year
like one
old.
question then. So is what Drake did to that girl on stage illegal?
Federally, yes. Yes,
How is
it
it
is.
federally illegal?
Because
There's
what's the federal age of consent? Do you know it? In the United States, what's the national age of consent in the United States of America?
I'm not that educated, but I'm gonna guess
It's 18.
18.
It's 18, right?
Hmm.
State laws, they can do their own thing, right? But I don't know if you know because the state and the federal government argue a lot. Who usually wins that? It's the federal government because the federal government has say over everything. The whole thing where like weed is legal in California, but if the federal government wants to step in, they can all of a sudden arrest everybody that's selling weed in California. They could do that, even if it's legal in California, because it's still not federally legal yet. But of
Then
course, if there's no reason for the federal government to not do it, they're not going to create an issue and do it. Whether they don't want to argue with the state, they don't want people to rise up, whatever the case may be. I'm
then
going to guess
then
the
why
reason.
do the states make certain things legal if the federal government can go ahead and say fuck that shit? You're arrested.
That's the beauty of the democratic process in the United States. The states don't have complete autonomy over themselves, but they have enough autonomy to where they can work shit out and do shit for the general public of their people.
So if
That's
that's the case and Drake is this juggernaut, why did they not just hit Drake with this?
okay. Can you tell who the woman is in the video without her coming out and saying it?
Like her name or what?
Yes, like okay, first of all, I have two reasons. I'm gonna say the first reason real quick, and the second reason we're gonna get into. First reason, I don't think the government cares. If there's not a reason for the government to care, they're not gonna care. So I don't think the government cares about Drake in this low quality video of him kissing some 17 year
So
old
then why
on stage.
is yeah, so like why
And
don't they
second,
care though?
well,
Why
because
doesn't the
okay,
government care?
why would they care?
No, I'm asking you. I'm
Okay,
asking why would they
so
care if
he's not
if
some
you're
wanted
using
person.
this as an
Okay, hold on.
argument
Okay, fine,
to
fine.
like
I'm not using it as
explain
an argument.
Kendrick's thing, then if the government doesn't care, why do you think what Drake did was morally wrong and weird?
To clarify, I'm not using that as a thing. Regardless of whether the government cares, I still think it's weird, and a lot of people agree. And it's just a general thing. Like no one's trying too hard to defend Drake kissing a 17-year-old. Like if you try too hard, you're gonna look weird. And the fact people
Hmm.
even know that just says enough.
That's why I like look right. For months I was hesitant about doing this, but it's just hey,
Because you
I
know
see
it's
all
weird.
these people in the comments. I got tired of it. I said, "Fuck it." I'm gonna speak for people that are too afraid to speak about this because this is ridiculous. People are slandering Drake everywhere. You know what? Nah, like so.
No, yeah, yeah. For anyone that's saying
Yeah,
like
so I
he's
said,
a
fuck that shit. Let me
or
defend.
like
I
he
didn't want to
traffics
defend this
kids, like yeah, it's
concert
a lot.
video because I perfectly understand why people might not like it. But I'm tired of the Drake slander. I'm not automatically saying you're doing it. I'm just saying in general. I'm tired of all this slanders comments. I go on my phone every day. I scroll
Which ones?
YouTube.
Which
I
ones?
see this
Which
stuff.
slanderous comments? Which slanderous like the one that's calling him like a trafficker or some shit?
That's definitely one of them. It's just
Yeah, because
there's
like
a
if it's the
plethora,
shit that has like
of
no actual
slanderous
evidence,
things.
I get it. But if people are calling Drake a weirdo that likes fucking with teenagers, you can't really argue that because the history shows he likes fucking with teenagers. That 18-year-old girl he took out on a date, he met her because he used to watch her high school basketball games. He used to go to high school basketball games.
Does
I'm
the
sorry,
song
it's just
say
like
wait, but does the song say when? Like it's kind of hard to explain. Does the song say, I mean, like what date does the song take place?
brother,
Like
no,
not
forget, no, there's no song. He met her by watching her high school basketball games. He was like 34 at the time, and she was 18. So clearly he was watching her. Okay, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say he just started watching her the second he turned 18. I'm gonna just give him that benefit of the doubt, even though that's like kind of weird. He was watching high school basketball,
what's wrong
high
with
school
watching
women's
that?
basketball.
What's wrong with watching high school basketball?
Okay, if you go to a high school, I get it. If you don't go to the high school, but you have a sibling or you have a friend or that's your local high school, I get it. This is not a Toronto high school. This is some random high school that Drake doesn't live anywhere near. And he met this 18-year-old girl from watching this high school basketball team and then took her on a date. If you don't think that's a little bit weird for a dude in his mid 30s to be doing, mid early 30s to be doing, like I don't know what to tell you. And okay, fine, it's not illegal. But again, if you don't think this doesn't make him look bad to the point where Kendrick can use it to his advantage, then you just don't want to admit the fact that Drake just
No,
looks
like it's because Drake is tapped into sports. So
tapped
obviously
into
he's
high
gonna
school girls basketball, bro. Come on.
when you're tapped into sports, you're gonna see things
Stop it.
that
Stop it.
most
Stop
people
it.
are not gonna see.
Hey, you know
Hell,
what he saw? Hey, you know what
women's
he saw?
basketball is
You know what
not
he
even
saw?
nearly as popular as
Hey,
men's
hey,
basketball. But if you're a sports
you know what
addict,
she grew up
if
to
you're a
be? Hey,
sports fanatic, you know how many fucking
yeah,
sports
I'm
events Drake pops up to randomly with Chubbs and all these people. When you're tapped into certain things, you do your research and you watch things that are not
yes,
that
you do
popular.
your research so then you can take him out on a date, right? Because you want to know
That's
how that
why.
girl ended
That's
up.
why when
You
you
want to know how?
do
No, wait, you want to know
research,
how that girl
that's
ended
why
up? You
there's
want to know how that
people
girl ended
that
up?
do research and that don't do research about hip hop.
You want me
Because
to do
when
the
you are a
You
hip
want me to
hop
tell you the research?
fanatic,
You
when
want
you're
me to
a
tell you
hip
the
hop
research?
fanatic,
You
you
want me to tell
watch
you the
things
research?
on YouTube that
You
got
want me
like
to tell you the research?
30,000 views
You want me to
because
tell you the
nobody's
research?
watching it, but you're so
You want me to
tapped
tell you the
into
research?
hip hop, you're gonna look
You
at
want
an
me to tell you the
Immortal
research?
Technique rap song.
You want me to tell you? I don't care about no moral technique right now. You want to
As
hear
an
the research?
example, it's an example. It's an example.
You want to hear the research? Do
You're
you want
gonna
to?
rephrase it to
No, I'm not.
fit.
I'm gonna tell you the research.
All right. Well, all right.
Do you
What's
know
the
what
research?
happened
What's
to
the
that at
research?
the time 18-year-old girl? After,
What?
do you know what happened to her after that? Like after, like she's like 24, 25, but like you don't know what happened to her.
Yeah.
You said he's tapped in, right? So you'd assume maybe he saw some talent and she made the WNBA, or at least she made the
No,
college level,
no,
right?
no. I never said I assumed he
No,
saw
no, no. But I'm
talent.
saying, no, no. You
No, I
said he's
never
tapped in,
said
so you're
that.
assuming he's tapped in. What is he tapped into for a high school girls basketball game? What is he tapped into? What
High
reason is
school
he tapping
basketball
in?
game is under the umbrella of sports.
Okay, that's fine, but why would you go to a random high school basketball girls game unless you think one of them is like, good, really good, right? I'm assuming, right? Unless you're going there for a different reason. You're going there because you think one
It's
of them
a
is really good, right?
game. It's a
Right?
game. All those
No,
people
no,
are
no. Don't
good.
avoid the
Why do
question.
you
Don't
think
avoid the
those
question.
girls got chosen into a team?
Why do you think Drake went there specifically? Just to watch a random high
It's
school basketball game?
entertainment. Sports is enter. When you
So why
watch
did he take
sports,
her ass on a date less than a
when
year
you watch
after? And then he
sports,
was
when you watch sports, you're watching for entertainment.
That's fine. And he was entertained by the 18-year-old he wanted to take out on a date because you want to know what happened to her after? She didn't make
So
the college basketball team. She didn't play at a college level.
is it not possible to appreciate a whole team and then do what you said he did after that?
All right, why didn't you take all of them out on a date and then pay for the
No,
scholarship?
that's not my question. That's
No,
literally
I'm
the
saying like you're
opposite
trying to
of my
put narratives
question.
into it, but like,
That's literally the opposite of my question.
okay,
I said
what's your question?
I asked, right? Remember what I just said? When you watch a basketball game, when you're watching sports, you're trying to be entertained, which means it's the whole team's effort to entertain you. Because
Wait,
when you win a game,
Drake,
when you win a
Drake.
game
Out
and
of
lose a
all the
game,
things
it's a
he could
team
watch,
effort.
out of
Bro,
all
I
the
can't
things he
even
could
finish
watch
my
that day, he's gonna
question.
watch a high
I
school
can't even finish
basketball
my
game with like
question,
17,
bro.
18-year-old girls playing.
I can't even finish my question. That's what I'm talking about. What y'all catching
Yeah, my
people.
fault, my fault. Finish your question, man. Finish your
All
question.
right, look, right? So, like I said, you're trying to be entertained by a whole team. So, I'm asking, is it possible for Drake to watch for the whole team and then after it's over, he does what you are saying he did? Yes or no? Is it not possible? Is it possible?
I'm not
Yes
saying
or
it
no?
isn't. Okay, I'm not saying it isn't possible. Yeah, sure, it's
Okay,
possible.
then.
Sure.
Drake
Saying like, does it not
Drake
make him
watched
look?
a whole. Who would watch an entire game that's probably over an hour long just to wait for one 18-year-old girl to talk to? What? Like
I'm
nobody
sorry.
got
Like,
time for that.
oh, you don't think nobody
That's
has time for that? Oh,
ridiculous.
wait, you're saying nobody has time for? So why did he rent out a
Nobody
whole
has time
restaurant?
for that. If you're gonna
He
show
did.
up to
Wait,
a
he did
whole
have time for it
basketball
clearly because he
game,
did it. Wait, he did
why
it. You're
would
saying he don't have time for
why
it. He did
wouldn't
it.
Drake just pull up after the game? Why did he pull up during the game, before the
Yo,
game,
yo, yo.
during the
Okay,
game?
I don't. Okay, I can't answer that question because I'm not
You
Drake,
can't
right?
answer the question because you
You
know the
can't answer
answer.
it either because you're not Drake. You can't tell me the reason why he did it because you don't
I
know Drake.
I don't gotta be Drake. Who the fuck just pulls up to a whole game just to wait for one person?
That's a good question. But here's the thing, right? You're telling me it can't. Okay, you're telling me, is it possible that he did it that way? I say yes. So you have to acknowledge it's possible that the other reason that I said happened too.
So then why did you choose that other reason and not my reason first?
Because everything
You
that
didn't even
happened after.
consider it.
Wait. You gonna
No,
let me
like
answer?
no,
Wait.
like
You asked me a question just now. You gonna let me answer? Or you just gonna keep going?
I wasn't finished explaining my question.
You just said, why did I choose that way? I think that's the end of the
Yeah,
question.
and then literally right after I asked that, you started talking. I wasn't done.
Okay, continue.
So basically, I was saying, right? I was saying, why did you go with that one before the other one? And then this is when you were talking. I said you didn't even consider that
No, I
possibility.
did, but
See,
there's a reason
if
why.
you were considerate as a person,
I'll wait.
you would have said, okay, it is possible, but I still think this is true about Drake. You didn't even say that. You
No,
just
I
went
don't need to say
straight
that because
to
here's the thing, right? Obviously, I have to acknowledge that that's the case. But here's the thing: I have multiple critiques of that one, like the normal quote unquote way he would have went there. One,
Mhm.
it wasn't some crazy talented basketball team. It's not like he went to watch a women's basketball team that was like high ranking or like really, really good or like had a potentially good college prospect. That team was pretty average. That chick that he ended up taking out on the date, she was decent, but she never even made the college level. You know what she ended up being? She ended up being a model. Huh, crazy, right? But anyways, it's not like there was that interest. You're saying he wanted to get entertained. You're telling me, Drake, out of all the basketball teams he could have watched, I'll just say women's high school. I'll literally just break it down to women's high school, which is still weird, but I'm going to just act like it's not weird. He could have watched another women's high school game with more college prospects, a better team if he cares so much about being entertained and likes sports so much. Why did he pick that specific school?
Okay,
Why? Okay. No,
okay.
but I'm saying, like, I can't tell you the exact reason why because I'm not him, but it looks weird when you do
No,
that
but look,
specific thing.
dude. How do you think they got into a basketball team in the first place? They had some level of talent.
Oh, come on, please stop, bro. Because yo, and there's
Dude,
some
I
high
tried
schools.
out
No,
for
no, stop. You
basketball.
went to high school. You went to
I
high school,
remember
right? You went
elementary
to high
school,
school,
right?
right? You
Wait.
went to high school, right?
Literally, wait. Like as far as elementary or middle school, I tried out for a basketball team. You know what they made us do? They made us do all these drills and
That's
all these
fine. I used
tests.
to play sports too. That's fine. What's your point?
They made us do all these things, and you know what happened? I didn't even make the cut.
That's fine. That sucks, man. It happens. But like, that's not the
Like,
point.
look,
Because they make the
I don't really
basketball
care if I didn't
team.
make the cut. I'm just
Just
saying,
because they
like,
make the
if you
basketball
join
team.
the moment you join a basketball team, you don't got to be LeBron James. The moment you join a basketball team and you made the cut, that means you have some level of talent. And look, and then like you also asked, like, out of all the games, why did Drake show? I'm saying Drake shows up to a lot of games, and that
Okay,
was
what are the
just
other
one of
high school girls basketball teams he shows up to?
he because you're
What are
making
the
it look
other
like
ones?
he
What are the
singled
other
out.
ones? No. What are the other
No,
ones? What are the other
wait.
ones? What are the other ones?
You
What
made
are
it
the
look
other ones?
like okay, your question is as if he singled out that game over dozens of games. I'm saying
I don't think he singled out
Drake
that game. I think he
to
singled out that team because he was looking at a specific girl.
no
I'm
look,
sorry. But
I'm saying he went to tons of games and that just so happened to be one of them.
okay, what
Just
other
like
high
how
school?
when a
What
rapper
other
goes on
women's high
tour,
school basketball game? What other women's high school basketball game?
I'm not tapped into sports.
Shit, I'm not tapped into high school girls playing basketball either, and I
I'm not
understand
even
why you're
tapped
not.
into men's basketball. I don't even watch
No, I get it,
basketball.
but
Period.
here's the thing, right? If he had a history, okay, you know Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, right? You know them?
I know Andrew Reese. Yeah,
Okay, imagine Drake went to high school women's basketball games and like was talking to high school basketball girls who ended up being good, or at least like he was looking at the ones that were good at the time. You can excuse that for Drake just being into women's basketball and trying to see who's coming up next. Drake does not care. There's nothing out there that shows that he cares about NCAA women's basketball or WNBA to the point where he would go to a high school women's basketball game. And the one time that is publicly known of him visiting that basketball game, he has a interaction and like some type of relationship with that 18-year-old girl and ends up taking her on a fucking date and then never shows up to any of her basketball games again. Yes, I'm going to acknowledge that there's a chance that he could have just happened to go to that game and then happened to see that 18-year-old and then happened to want to take her out on a date. But I'm sorry, you have to go through all these loops to not make it look weird. And I can't confirm whether he's been looking at her since before he was 18. Again, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he found her right when he was 18. He's like, oh, I want to see one of these games. If you look at her stats, she's not anything special either. She didn't even make it to the college level. And there's nobody on her team that went crazy and then like was like some crazy college athlete. So I'm just saying that it takes more effort to make Drake not look weird in this situation than it is to just acknowledge how it looks, and it looks weird.
it does take effort to. Yeah, like literally, I didn't even want to have to do this, but people are giving it this much level of attention. If it was a little bit of attention, which it was before this whole beef, I wouldn't care. It's just it's ever since the beef, it's
Drake
been
made it
amplified.
himself, by the way. I'm not gonna sit here and make this like you can't hold that against Kendrick because Drake responded
No,
in the
no,
worst.
no, no. Like literally, I am holding it against Kendrick because he
Right, but
he
you
he
can't hold
he
Drake
fanned
to
the
fire.
flames. He
You can't
fanned the
hold
flames.
Drake
That's
to
why
fire.
last year when Drake was talking about Millie Bobby Brown, I didn't even give a fuck. I didn't even argue with nobody about it because I didn't think it was that big of an issue. But ever
I
since
mean,
this
a
beef,
lot of people
Kendrick
think somebody in their
purposely
mid 30s talking to a 14-year-old is the issue. Unfortunately, a
no,
lot of
no,
people
like
think
no, like
that.
what I'm saying is you see how you saw me in the comment section going crazy for Drake. I didn't do that last year because when Millie Bobby Brown because when that whole Millie Bobby Brown shit happened, I didn't even talk about it. I didn't care
That's fine. Some people did.
because
Some
every rapper has haters. Every rapper has haters. I'm saying ever
Wait,
since
so
this
if somebody
beef.
has an issue with you as someone in your mid 30s talking to a 14-year-old that you're not related to, if they have an issue with that, that makes them a hater?
No, no, look, what I'm saying is you see how the Billy Bobby Brown shit happened last year and it was a little controversial.
Yeah.
You didn't see me fight in the comments trying
Okay,
to
that's fine.
defend Drake or go
I
against
think
Drake.
it
I
doesn't
didn't
matter what you
care.
did at that. I don't think it matters what you did. Like regardless of that. I'm
That's
just
what I'm
saying like
saying.
that's just how it
I'm
is.
going this hard because there is way too much hate for that
Okay,
situation
so where are you
that
for the
Drake
Kendrick?
went
Where are you
through.
for
And
Kendrick when
because
you
of
say he beat his
Kendrick
wife? Wait. So
purposely
where are you for
fanning the
Kendrick?
flames, this happened. Because of Kendrick over amplifying an issue that did not need this level of hate.
Okay, that sucks for Drake. He shouldn't have picked the beef with Kendrick. That sucks.
No,
You can't
Kendrick
blame
picked it with
Kendrick.
him with
No, he
control.
didn't. No, he didn't. Stop
Yes,
playing.
he
Stop playing.
did.
Hey, who
Yes, he
mentioned fam?
did.
Wait, who